Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guide on the Lair of Tarn Razorlor mini quest. So this mini quest is kind of a sequel to the Haunted Mine quest, and naturally you need to have obviously completed that to be able to do this mini quest. I'll go through it properly in a moment just to quickly cover the requirements and items you're going to need. So as for requirements, like I just said, you need to have completed the Haunted Mine quest, and you're also going to need to have level 40 Slayer in order to begin the fight with him. It cannot be boosted, so you need to have the physical level. As for items, the only item you'll definitely need is obviously your Salve Amulet, but naturally you're also going to need armor, weapons and food in order to sort of go against a fight with Tarn himself, which I'll talk about in a moment. So in this mini quest, Tarn will have two forms. The first is weak to air spells, and the second is weak to thrown weapons. However, magic is quite effective against his second form, and because you'll also need to fight against his terror dogs, I would go with the magic combat approach, as that enables you to be able to fight multiple targets at once if you make use of the ability. So that's obviously only a recommendation. You can choose to go with whichever combat style you think best suits you. So that's it for requirements and items. Now onto the quest starting point. So we're currently at the Canifis Lodestone, which can be accessed via the Lodestone network. Now in order to access Tarn's lair, we need to actually go through the Haunted Mine, but not deep into the mines, and don't worry, as I know it's a little bit confusing. So if you start heading to the Haunted Mine area, which is directly south through the Morytania swamp, and I will give you directions once we're there. So to get into Tarn's lair, you need to go into this tunnel, which can be accessed by climbing over a couple of these mine carts. Once you go through, this will bring you onto the correct level. So there's all different sort of pathways. If you take the direct north pathway, you'll go across a couple of bats and skeletons. You'll then come up to the entrance of Tarn's lair, and if you click, you will enter into the main part. Now Tarn's lair has several sort of things to navigate through in order to reach the end part where he is. There are various traps that you'll need to overcome, which can do damage to you. Now I will talk you through the directions to get to him, but some of you might find it easy just to kind of watch on the video, so whichever way is best for you, obviously go with that. So when ready, after entering the lair, you want to go east past the floor traps. There's a wall trap on the north wall, and there's monsters towards the end of the passage. So head north and then turn east, and then follow the path heading north again, and there are two wall traps to disarm by searching them via the right click option. The southern one is on the western wall and the northern one is on the eastern wall. Now Odovakar, I don't know how you pronounce that, is at the end of the corridor, and this is your last place to restock or heal prior to moving on to Tarn. However, there is a few safe places along the rest of the way to sort of use the rest ability to recover some health. So from the banker, you want to go north through the passageway, and then you need to follow the U-shaped hall all the way to the end, past the floor traps, wall traps and monsters, and then take the western doorway. So in the square room with a single giant skeleton in it, go through the passage to the north. In the following room, go through another passage to the west. So you'll now be in a hallway that looks like an inverted T. You want to take the passage to the north, avoiding the wall traps on both sides of the wall, and then go through the doorway on the west side. So this now puts you in a room with pillars that you must jump across and a log trap you must disable. There are no monsters here, so you can use this room to rest and heal up if necessary, using the obviously rest ability. So make your way to the west side of the room using the southern pillars and deactivate the log swing trap by searching the button on the floor. The trap will eventually reset though, so you need to move quickly. You then need to use the second row of pillars from west to go north. Next, follow the path to the east, past the wall traps on the southern and northern walls, and you'll end up in a room with 4 walls that shoot out periodically. Time your moves to avoid being knocked into the hole, or you can also use the surge ability twice to pass through each of these. Once past, you then want to take the passageway through the eastern wall. So you'll now be in another room with more pillars to jump over, and the correct route is by zigzagging across the room from northwest to southeast. You will be attacked by 2 level 94 skeleton mages as you cross the room. Once across, go down the stairs into an empty room, which will then lead to the final rooms to which you'll face against Tarn Razorlor and his terror dogs. And this is also where the Ring of Slaying teleport will leave players if you choose to use that from this point onwards. So when you're ready for combat, enter the room and a cutscene will take place of Tarn transforming into a green mutant with lashing tentacles and unleashing 2 level 65 terror dogs. After this cutscene has ended, the fight will then begin. Animated steel armor will also attack if you move near them. So Tarn can attack with both melee and magic, but attacks mostly with melee if approached. And since the terror dogs can only use melee themselves, either protect from melee or deflect melee is strongly recommended. But prayer is also drained constantly, so be aware of that. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the guide, Tarn is weak to air spells in his first form, so you want to really use this, kind of position yourself in the room where you can use the multiple hitting abilities like Chain and Dragon Breath. That way your attacks will also hit the terror dogs without you directly focusing on them, so that way you can concentrate most of your spells against Tarn. But literally after a few sort of magic attacks he will go down quite quickly. Now after his first form is defeated, he'll then turn into a ghost, which is now weak to thrown weapons. However, you can keep using magic on him. I found it just as effective than what using thrown weapons would be. Now Tarn is the only monster required to be killed, so ignore the minions at this point and obviously just keep focused on the ghost form. Once his second form is defeated, a room will open up and Tarn's diary is in this next room on a table, so you want to go and collect that. If you then use the diary with the Salve Amulet, you'll create it into a Salve Amulet Enchanted, and this will then complete the mini quest, and you'll be granted 5,000 Slayer experience, Tarn's diary, and the Salve Amulet Enchanted, which gives 20% extra accuracy and damage across all combat styles of the undead, so basically a stronger version of the original amulet. And also finding out about Tarn Razorlor's diary is a requirement and achievement for the Morytania hard tasks, which either those of you watching this guide will be doing it for that reason, or you're aiming to get completionist or master questscape, either one of those. But yeah, overall, not a really difficult mini quest. The lengthy bit is really just getting into the room with Tarn himself, and then once you're actually there, the battle with him is quite easy, if I'm honest. I think it probably used to be a lot harder before all the combat updates, but now it's pretty straightforward. And to be honest, I found the actual Haunted Mine quest a lot more difficult than what this was, so you guys shouldn't have any problems at all. However, if you do get stuck at all, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll help you out as best I can. If not, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Thanks everyone, goodbye.